So you've got a cool AI project, something that actually works. Awesome. But how do you take it from a weekend demo to a professional, production-ready app? Well, today we're going to break down that exact leap. And spoiler alert, it's all about the engineering.
All right, picture this. You've spent all this time hacking together an amazing AI demo. It's impressive, you're super excited about it, but then that big question hits you. Okay, now what? How do I actually turn this proof of concept into a real product that people can depend on every single day?
And here's the absolute truth about that. The amazing model you're using, whether it's from OpenAI or Google or one you fine-tuned yourself, that's just one piece of the puzzle. The real work, the thing that separates a demo from a durable product, is all the engineering you build around that model.
Every solid house needs a solid blueprint, right? Same thing here. So, let's dive into the core architecture, the foundational stuff you need to build an AI app that's actually robust and ready for the real world.
First up on our blueprint is something called a model gateway. The easiest way to think about this is like a universal remote for all your AI models. Instead of your app needing to know how to talk to 5 different models in 5 different ways, it just talks to this one central gateway. The gateway handles all that complexity for you.
So why bother with this extra layer? Oh, the reasons are huge. First, you get a unified interface. That means you can swap out models, say from GPT-4 to Claude, without rewriting a bunch of code. Second, you get one central place to control access and manage your costs. You know exactly who's using what and how much you're spending. And third, it makes A/B testing different models a breeze. It's all about giving you control and flexibility.
Next up, caching. You've got to have caching. It's basically your app's short-term memory, and it is an absolute game changer. Without it, your app is slow and super expensive because it keeps making the same API calls over and over again. But with a cache, it just remembers the answers to questions it's already seen. It becomes fast, cheap, and way more efficient.
Okay, so our app's architecture is looking solid. It's up and running. But is it running well? You can't just cross your fingers and hope for the best. This is where observability comes in. Think of it as the mission control dashboard for your app, giving you a live, real-time look at its health.
So to track your app's health, you need to monitor its vital signs. In the real world, we use some key metrics for this. First is MTTD, which basically answers the question, how quickly do we even know something is broken? Then you have MTTR, which is, okay, now how fast can we fix it? And finally, change failure rate, or CFR, tells you how often your new updates actually end up breaking something. Super important stuff. And how do we actually get all that great info? Through what we call the 3 pillars of observability. You've got metrics, which give you that high-level what is happening view. Then you have logs, which are the super detailed, time-stamped records of every event, the when and where. And finally, you have traces, which follow one single request on its entire journey through your system, showing you how it all happened. When you have all 3, you have the full story.
Okay, so our app is stable, we can see exactly what it's doing. Now comes the really fun part. How do we make it smarter? The best way is by listening to your users. So let's talk about building a powerful AI feedback loop.
Now, user feedback really boils down to 2 main types. You've got explicit feedback, which is direct and clear. A thumbs up button, a 5-star rating, a comment box. The user is literally telling you what they think. Then there's implicit feedback, which is more subtle. You have to infer it from their actions. They're showing you what they think by, say, editing a response or sharing a result. Midjourney is a brilliant example of collecting explicit feedback without being annoying. When a user sees an image they love and clicks that upscale button, that's a massive, clear signal. Same when they ask for variations of an image. They're directly telling the model, hey, I like this, give me more stuff like it. And for implicit feedback, you can't find a better example than GitHub Copilot. It's just a masterclass. Think about it. When it suggests some code and you hit Tab to accept it, that's a huge positive signal. But if you just ignore the suggestion and keep on typing your own thing, that's a quiet but very powerful negative signal. The AI is learning just by watching how you work. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? This whole feedback thing comes with a serious hidden danger. If you're not super careful, the very system you build to make your AI smarter can actually become a trap that ends up poisoning it from the inside out.
This trap has a name. It's called a degenerate feedback loop. It's this nasty, vicious cycle where a model shows something that influences what the user does, and that user feedback then reinforces whatever little bias the model started with. Over time, it just amplifies those small biases until they completely take over.
Let me give you a classic example of how this goes down. Imagine your app has a tiny, almost random bias towards showing cat photos. Well, the few cat lovers using your app see them and they engage, right? They give positive feedback. The model learns, oh, people love cats, so it starts showing more cat photos. This, in turn, attracts more cat lovers who give even more positive feedback. And before you know it, your app is nothing but a cat haven, and you've pushed away everybody else.
What happens here is that this process can turn your helpful AI into something called a sycophant. It basically stops trying to be accurate or useful and instead just learns to say whatever it thinks will get a positive reaction from the user. It starts prioritizing being agreeable over being correct.
And that brings us to the single most important takeaway I want you to get from all of this. If you remember one thing, make it this. User feedback is absolutely crucial for making a better product, but if you just use it blindly, without thinking, it can lock in biases and completely destroy what you're trying to build.
So, as you go out there and start taking your own amazing projects from a demo to a real product, I'm going to leave you with this big question to think about. How will you build a feedback system that's smart enough to learn from its users without accidentally trapping itself and everyone who uses it inside an echo chamber?